I have a tremendous amount of love and compassion for everyone else. And you're never going to have the perfect set of circumstances to be able to do it. You look so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, right.
She's great, and she's really funny and nice and sweet, and she's a great improviser.
Hello, Believe Nation. My name is Evan Carmichael. My one word is believe, and I believe that entrepreneurs will solve all of the world's major problems. So to help you on your journey, today we're going to learn from actress and singer Anne Hathaway and my take on her top 10 rules of success. Rule number 1 is my personal favorite, and I'd love to know which one you guys like the best. And as always, as you're watching, if you hear something that really resonates with you, please leave it in the comments below. Put quotes around it so other people can be inspired. You might win a prize as well. And also when you write it down, it's much more likely to stick for yourself as well. Enjoy.
Yeah, I'd gotten out of the habit of Googling myself because that's just a bad idea to ever do that. And I was trying to come up with my friends and I had an idea for Funny or Die, and we wanted to do something on celebrity pregnancy rumors. So we just Googled pregnancy rumors, and then the story came up. And
what was the story?
The story, the title of it was "Why Does Everybody Hate Anne Hathaway?"
So I think, and you know,
okay,
I know.
It's really okay.
No.
It has a happy ending.
I know.
Life continues.
Yes, but I know what that feels like. And I think when people write things like that or say things like that, it is cyberbullying. And so how did you deal with all that?
Well, I listened at first, and that I couldn't help it. You know, and you try to shut it off, and I couldn't, and then I realized why I couldn't was I hadn't learned to love myself yet. I hadn't gotten there. And if you don't love yourself, when someone else says horrible things to you, a part of you is always going to believe them.
Yep.
And so then it was like, okay, I don't want to believe these people. I don't want to agree with them on any level. I want to figure out who I am. I want to learn who I am, and I don't want to feel like I'm fragile every time I leave the house because I'm so dependent on what other people think about me. So I just took a step back, and as Matthew would say, Matthew McConaughey, my co-star and Interstar, would say, I just kept living. And it's been a really cool journey. And I feel like I've arrived in a place where, maybe not every minute of every day, but way more than I used to. I have a tremendous amount of love and compassion for everyone else. And best of all, I have it for myself, which I'd never enjoyed before. I've used playback in films before, and my mind has a tendency to wander. I think it would have required a different amount of concentration. I also think that it would have become frustrating to be locked into a performance. One of the things that was great about the live singing was that it allowed for multi-camera shooting, which is my personal favorite way to work, where you don't have to worry later on in the day, okay, what did I do this morning? Go back in time. If you find a new truth in the scene, you can follow it because the take is being shot in its entirety from all angles, so there's choices in the editing room later on. I find that lets me relax and let go. And the last time that I shot that way was Rachel Getting Married, so it was a nice return to that format for me.
In the one take scene that he does for I Dreamed a Dream, how many times did you do that? And do you remember in any of those takes thinking, this has got to be the one. This has got to be the one he's going to use?
You know, I was trying not to think when I was doing it, but the one that is in the film, when I got to the end of it, I just thought, I don't think I can do better than that. I'd like to try, but if it's that one, I can live with that. I can go home and keep my head held high. So Tom came up to me after that one. It was the 4th take, and he said, I'm very happy. And I said, I want to keep going. And so we shot for another 8 hours. And then at the end of those 8 hours, we looked at each other and said, oh, it was that one that we shot in the morning. Oh, dear. But it was good to have gone that full journey so that I know that literally, even though I desired to do better, that actually was my best. I guess in March or April of 2011 that there was going to be a film version of the musical Les Mis, and Hugh Jackman was probably going to be in it, and I just said, oh my gosh, I'll play anybody, please just let me audition, which I did a few months later and then got the part a month after that.
Did you know, from before that it was going to be live singing? And because that's a big challenge of it, I think.
Tom was still making up his mind about it, how exactly it was going to be done, how much of it was going to be live. He knew he wanted the show to be sung through, but he didn't know if we would be dropping certain lines here and there. But I thought it was a great idea. I thought it was such a cool challenge to try to do that when it's. I don't think there have been a couple movies that were sung through the entire time, but not one made recently. So I don't know. It seemed like it would be pretty cool if we were able to pull it off. A lot of people wanted to know if I'm like my character.
Oh, okay. And
I like my character, so I hope that I am. I think she's feisty and sweet and big-hearted and tough. And maybe like me, like when the movie started, she kind of is a little angry and has a little bit of a chip on her shoulder against the world. And I think when I started Rio 1, I was in that place, and now she's married and quite happy, and I'm in that place too. So maybe there's a little parallel there.
I can't imagine Anne Hathaway having a chip on her shoulder. You always seem very sweet.
Oh, thank you. I try to be polite to everybody, but now that feeling actually runs quite deep. As before, I think I might have been just faking it.
Really?
Not faking it, but not wanting to be disrespectful to people that came in. But yeah, I think we all have anger inside of us, and anyway. Let me lay down on the couch and we'll have a therapy session. It'll be fine.
Yeah, that's kind of gorgeous to hear, because the A-list actresses, you do sort of have that veneer of just glossy wonderfulness. It's quite nice to hear you get angry.
Yeah, of course. And then part of the joy of life is learning how to admit that, say that out loud, and then learn to not be angry with it, and just kind of So anyway, so I feel like my character, I'm letting happiness in a lot more, and I'm kind of living my life from that place. So I just did a play. It was a one-woman show. And I just had a lot of stuff just kind of hitting me in my personal life. And I didn't think I could go on. It's just something really hard had happened that day. And I never, you know me, I could never imagine missing a performance, but I really didn't think I could go on that day. And I called my boss at the theater, and he just said, you got to do it. You got to do it. You got to dig down deep.
Did you have an understudy? Did you?
No, I didn't have an understudy. I'm the only one in the show, so... and he said, you just go on stage and you just got to trust it's going to be there. You're going to find it. And there was this moment I remember, where I didn't go up on a line, but the line just wouldn't come out. And I had to handle it in the moment. And I needed a break from the audience. And I just kind of curled up into a ball on stage and took a breath and stood up, and I thought that maybe I just ruined the show, but they were totally with it, and it occurred to me they didn't know that this was an unusual show, and it was a way more raw performance than I had been giving, but it worked, and I got a huge audience reaction that night. So I guess the thing that I learned is it's not really about you. It's not really about what you think, and you're never going to have the perfect set of circumstances to be able to do it. You just got to accept it for what it is, go with it. I'm kind of type A, so I always, and a little bit of a perfectionist, so I always want to get it right. And it's, as opposed to, my job in acting, there's no way to get it right. There's no way to be, there's no clear, absolute way to do things. You just kind of go with what you're feeling and hope that it works out, that it's the best that could have been chosen. I think I'm a very lucky actress, and I think that one thing I can give myself a compliment about is I think I'm a good student. And I'm learning. I'm certainly not... I've done good things, but I don't think I could describe myself yet as a good actress. I just think that I'm someone who is always open to learning, and I think that's something I'm very proud of in myself. Trust, it's, if I could go back and talk to myself, I had really great people in my life, and I'm not someone that trusts easily, and I could have learned a lot if I'd opened myself up to trusting people more readily, which is a very scary thing to do, but now, God, here I am over a dozen years later, and I do trust those people, and my life has opened up beautifully.
This is a question that really I shouldn't ask, but what's something, you wrote it. What's something you learned from working with me? You could have learned nothing.
Well, I didn't learn nothing, that's for sure. I don't want to embarrass you, but I had my, antenna up the entire time we were working together. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, you're a legend. And so it would be foolish not to observe you, just to learn how, the best does it. And the thing that just blew me away, and what I learned was, you're so relaxed on set, and you're so humble about everything. It's not about any of the nonsense, any of the...
Not the drama.
Not the drama. It's not about the drama at all. You brought zero drama to the set any day. And I didn't... it was just a great delight to discover that someone who is as well known and well respected and legendary as you could have no ego. Great pride in your work and great level of attention and care with your character and for the work that we were doing, but no ego. And I thought that would be refreshing in anyone, but the fact that it was you made it kind of priceless. You look so uncomfortable right now.
Yeah, right.
Sorry, I really enjoyed answering that. My favorite lesson I ever had was from my teacher, Seth Barish at the Barrow Group. Yeah. And he had a quarter in his hands, and he had each one of us come up and try to get the quarter from him. And we all completely failed. And then he said, okay, and then he gave the quarter to one person in the class and said, now keep the quarter away from me. And the person goes, okay, and he attacked their hand, tackled them, and got the quarter out of their hand in 2 seconds, and he goes, you have to find, that is what a scene is about. You have to figure out what the quarter is, and you have to give that much energy going for it.
After a decade in Hollywood, Anne Hathaway has transformed from fairy tale princess to force in the industry, and she's left a lasting impression along the way.
It's such ineffable goodness.
Oh, such a dream. She's so much fun. She was my rock on set. We were like sparring buddies.
She's great, and she's really funny and nice and sweet, and she's a great improviser.
Anne Hathaway is somebody who will continue to push herself. She's striving to take on meatier roles.
I think she'll win an Oscar at some point.
And it's amazing to think, it doesn't feel like it's been a decade, but it has been. Some people don't even get 10 years in this industry, and the idea that, it's kind of coming together, and I still get to make amazing movies with inspiring people, and people are still kind of curious about what I can do. I'm the luckiest girl in the world. It's incredible. Everyone knows what I went through, on this press tour, and it still is the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me is my experience with Daniel Craig. So, I'm at this party, and it's like a really big party, and it's my agency has thrown it, and I've only...
We get it, you're famous, okay?
No, I have to explain this, because it's the first time I've ever gone to one of these, because there's this party that CAA throws before the Golden Globes, and I always thought it was a cocktail party, but it turns out if you get to a certain level, it's a dinner party too, and I was invited to the dinner portion for the first time ever. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just hobnobbing with all these amazing actors, and then, as the party's transitioning into the cocktail portion, Daniel Craig walks in. And there's not too many people there. And I'm like, oh my God, there's Daniel Craig. This is amazing. He's just so beautiful. And all of a sudden he looks up and looks right at me. And I'm like, and then he goes, hey, you. You. And I'm like, and in my mind, this is how I retrofit the logic. I was like, oh my God, I have just instantly become so famous that Daniel Craig is messing with me and we don't even know each other. And so I'm like, so of course, I'm like, you. and then he goes, you. And I was like, you. And he's just like, you. And I go, oh, I can't hear you. Want me to turn it up? Now, it's important to mention that we're across the room from each other, so all this is being done across a crowded room. So I just go, and I'm there, and I start to do some other things, and then all of a sudden Daniel goes, oh, not you. And points behind me, and I turned around, and the great British director Stephen Daldry is there, and he's like, nah, doing inappropriate things. And I realize I'm just an idiot, and I just want a hole to open around me, and this is why I shouldn't be invited nice places.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Cast your vote on who you want to see in the next top 10. Check out the link in the description and go vote for the person that you want me to profile next. I also want to give a quick shout out to Megan Lofton. Megan, thank you so much for picking up a copy of my book, Your One Word, doing the YouTube review, and posting it on Twitter as well. I really, really, really appreciate the support, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed my book. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe in you. I hope you continue to believe in yourself and whatever your one word is. Much love. I'll see you soon.
I spoke to you what seems like an eternity ago at the Les Mis junket. When I walked in the room, myself and other people were heaping praises on you, and you were kind of blushing, and you said that you're not used to this kind of attention, kind of used to being the underdog. Are you now at the end of this crazy, successful run of award season? Are you willing to relinquish underdog status officially?
Officially, never. I'm an actor, man. You always, I mean, this is spectacular, but if you want to get realistic with it, and thank you very much for bringing me back down to earth, you're always looking for the next job. You always think at the end of one, it doesn't matter what's happened before, no one's ever going to hire me again. So I do feel this evening the respect of my peers, and I'm going to ride that wave for as long as I can. But I do also have a practical approach to acting, which is gotta work, gotta work, gotta work.